With how many Star Wars shows are currently in production, it's hard not to wonder what some Star Wars shows might have looked like if they had started to come out a lot earlier. While The Clone Wars is probably the first major show people think of being within the Star Wars IP, there were some shows oriented towards much younger audiences closer to the original creation, like Droids and Ewoks in 1985 and 86. But the ideas for Star Wars TV shows have seemingly been around pretty consistently for a long time. The 90s were pretty saturated with children's shows in general that were tie-ins to other universes, functioning as largely toy advertisements with Pokemon, superhero cartoons, Transformers, and so on. And with Star Wars also being a franchise so heavily tied into its toy sales, you'd think it would have been the perfect opportunity for Lucasfilm to jump on. Despite this, after Droids and Ewoks had their 1985 to 1986 runs, it wouldn't be until 2003 that we'd get any more Star Wars on TV, in the form of the generally beloved but quite short Clone Wars multimedia project cartoon episodes. During that 20-year gap though, there were at least some attempts to get Star Wars shows up and running. The Young Jedi Knights books by Rebecca Mosta and Kevin J. Anderson, telling stories about Han and Leia's twin son and daughter, Jaina and Jason, at their Uncle Luke's Jedi Academy, had apparently generated some interest to be turned into a cartoon. The married authors were at a restaurant and happened to be sitting next to a Fox executive in around 1996, who discussed the book series with them and hoped to pitch the idea to Lucasfilm. Despite this interest from Fox, when the proposal was brought to Lucasfilm, the response was that any such ideas would have to wait until after the prequels, which would start coming out about 3 years later. So with the idea shot down so soon by Lucasfilm, it obviously wasn't something we were particularly close to getting, but hearing about the interest from Fox is interesting. It's kind of easy to fall into the present mindset where massive conglomerates are able to field multiple productions within a franchise, and the expectation often becomes that if a franchise doesn't have X releases in a year, it's floundering. But the media landscape was very different back then, and the idea of a true multimedia franchise with different formats still contributing to the same story was nowhere near as common. I'm sure there were probably dozens of floated proposals like this which ended up never really seeing the light of day, so it is nice to just pick through the bits which did happen to get out. I'd like to thank Jid2012 on Twitter for linking me to this, and Shazine on the Force.net's forums who put together some of these quotes a few years ago. Either way, that's going to do it for today. The next animated map video covering the hunt for Zinj is currently in production, so hopefully I'll have something to show for that soon. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.